Hello everyone and welcome to the class. This is David A. Cox with PCClassesOnline.com, and today we are talking about one of the topics that is very near and dear to my heart. We are talking about how to make money from YouTube. Now, I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how we got started in getting into this ourselves and a little bit about our journey. I don't want to go too far in detail into it because a lot's going to come up today. This class is going to run about an hour long, but we're going to give you just a ton of tips and tricks. There's going to be a lot of products and websites that are all going to be mentioned in this website. For those of you who are not here live, we do have an audience tuning in right now from literally all over the world. We're going to have a list of everything that we mention in the notes section of the video. So if you're on YouTube, just below the video, there should be a little section that says, I believe it's more info. You can click that and you'll see a giant list of all the links. For those of you who are watching it on PCClassesOnline.com, we will have it just beneath the video. So YouTube, it's really an amazing medium because truly anyone out there can become an overnight internet sensation. The secret to it all is that it's really not overnight. It's actually a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of research, a lot of time, energy, a lot of trial and error. And so let's start with, I wanted to share with all of you kind of how we got to this place in time. For those of you who are not familiar, PC Classes Online originally started out under a different name. Originally, the name of it was called Tech Talk America. And we started off as a radio podcast on iTunes. And we did the show for about a year and a half, and it was fun. We had a decent audience. And the problem that I learned was that you really can't teach technology through audio only. You have to have a visual element. You have to give people a way to see what it is you're trying to explain to them. You can't just say, okay, go to the top left corner and go to the Apple icon system preferences. You have to show them. So we left that whole talk show element of it and brought it into what it has become today. And it took a lot of trial and error to get it right. Originally, when we first started, we were actually not with YouTube. We were with Vimeo. And what I'm sharing with you is my own opinion. Okay, I'm entitled to it. I'm not bashing these people. But if for us, going with Vimeo was probably the biggest mistake I've made, business-wise. So when we went with Vimeo and YouTube's business plans are totally different. They're not even close to related. They both have video content, but with Vimeo, you have to pay them. So there's no way to actually really make money, essentially, off of Vimeo. It's really designed for filmmakers. I believe there is now a feature where you can sell your film so people can download a version, but I don't recommend it for very many people unless they are filmmakers, and I haven't used it in the last couple of years, so things may have changed since then. But when we left Vimeo, when we told them that we were going to be moving to YouTube, they sent me a letter basically saying, we are going to destroy all of your content that you've created to date. Now, by then, I had already extracted all of my videos out of Vimeo, and I'd put them on my computer so I could upload them to YouTube. And it just occurred to me, what does it say about a company and how much they value content when they say, we're going to destroy what you've created because you won't pay us? Here they are making money off of it. It just didn't make sense to me. So we left Vimeo, we went with YouTube, and when I first started out, I actually attended a webinar myself. This is now 2-3 years ago. And the gentleman who was giving the webinar, I'm not going to say his name, but he was definitely one of these people who he maybe didn't say that he was, like in his own eyes, a YouTube god, but he had that vibe about him and how he spoke. And what I want to be very clear with all of you about, what you see is exactly what you get with me. I am exactly the way in real life that I am with all of you. I try to be very, very real, open, and honest, and everything that I've done here has mostly been from trial and error, and there have been plenty of errors. So I'm going to share with you today, some of the things that we've done and some of the things that we are hoping to do in the near future. A lot of it for us is timing and funding and getting some of the equipment to make everything even better. So a couple quick facts I want to give you about YouTube. There are over 1 billion unique visitors to YouTube every single month. Over 100 hours of content are uploaded every single minute. And 80% of the clicks, the views on YouTube, are from outside of the United States. And one of the things that I found, and this is just my own opinion, but I live here in the United States, and I found that a lot of Americans, there seems to be this general feeling like we're like the center of the universe when we're not. And I know that, but I think a lot of people don't. And what's been amazing to me with what we've done is to be able to connect with people who are literally all over the globe. I mean, right now in this live class, we have people tuning in from, I mentioned a lot of them, I didn't mention all of them. We have people from the US, we have Canada, we have a ton of people in the UK, India, Korea, South Africa, Kuwait, I mean, literally all over the globe. And so with YouTube, it's a great, amazing opportunity, really, to bring everyone together. And with YouTube, you don't have to have a professional studio. You just have to be good at whatever it is you do, whether your thing is cooking. It could be, during the last class we did on this, we had a guy who wanted to create a YouTube channel for people who want to learn about restaurant management. In fact, for the live class right now, folks, for those of you who are here with us now, if you don't mind maybe typing into your little chat window, what are you looking to create? What's your channel going to be about? Is there a general theme to it? Just kind of curious to see what people are going to say here. So with YouTube, it's really an amazing journey. And for us, I like to be very, very open. To get to a point where it was really bringing in nice funds took about 9 months of work. It was a lot of hard work. I do have another job that I work. I have a small business where I live called the Mack Guru. And basically I do very similar things to what I do with PC Classes Online. It's just on a more one-on-one, small town kind of business basis, rather. So when you're looking at YouTube and you're looking to create your own channel, one of the things I think is very important to do is you need to know who is your competition. And, unlike, when you're in sort of like a small business and you may look at your competition and want to be like, okay, we got to crush these guys. Look at it with a little bit more of a positive eye. What are they doing right? And I always like to make a graph of 3 things. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? And what can I do better? And so you kind of use that compare and contrast so that you can get an idea for how your video is going to feel. What's the vibe going to be like? Couple of people I want to give a quick shout out to who I think have done an amazing job when it comes to brand building on YouTube. Some of you may have heard of a girl by the name of Michelle Phan, and her last name is spelled Phan. This girl, I don't know if she's over, I don't think she's even over 18 at this point, but she creates these makeup tutorial videos from her home. And I have a little tool, which I'm going to give all of you later on, which can kind of give you an insight as to how much money are these people making from creating YouTube content. And from what I've been able to figure out, Michelle, at whatever young age she is pulling in well over $1 million just from creating a makeup tutorial video, I think 1 or 2 a week from her home. Another guy who kind of got my interest into doing this whole thing, even though he has nothing to do with technology, there's a gentleman by the name of Ray William Johnson. And this guy basically takes viral videos and makes fun of them. And he's very rated R, shall we say. There's a lot of swearing, but he's really funny and he's very consistent at creating content. In fact, recently he retired, and from what I understand through the tools that I have, there was a point where he was making upwards of just shy of $3 million a year from creating 1 video a week. It's amazing, amazing stuff. The topics that tend to do best on YouTube are how-to videos, or just really anything where you can be an expert in your own field. A lot of people, when they think of YouTube, they think of cat videos and people falling down. Yeah, those get shared a lot, but if you look at what really makes up YouTube, how-to videos really are the majority, and if they're done well, you can really actually make quite a bit from them. So the other thing I want to encourage you all, something that, a lot of these things I'm still learning myself, and this is, after all, it's an education. It's a constant learning process. I'm not trying to say that I'm an expert at these things, but one of the things I had to teach myself, and still am trying to fully grasp, you do not need to be an overnight sensation. In fact, you don't even need to be number one. And that kind of competitive attitude can drive you mad. So it's important that you really just forget about the numbers and focus on creating the absolute best content that you can. Because it's that slow and steady pace that ultimately wins the race. You know, a lot of us hear of these people who they put out a video and like overnight it hits 10 million views. That is the very, very rare exception. A lot of times to get to that point, you have to build up a subscriber following, and I'm going to show you tricks to do that today. Another trick with YouTube is you have to be consistent. You know, YouTube is this incredibly complex algorithm, and it's like a math equation, if you will. And there's all these things that you have to do in order to get to number one. It's a combination of keywords, but it's so many different things. We're going to go over a lot of them today. But one of them is consistency. So as you're kind of putting together your plan for your channel, you have to say to yourself, how often am I going to create content? I am not excellent in that field. I try to always produce 1 to 2 videos a week. Sometimes I'm able to do 3 or 4. Sometimes I'm only able to do 1. But the thing is, you have to be somewhat consistent, because that they look at these patterns and kind of the more how do I put it? The better the reputation you have, the better your videos tend to do. So if you are brand new and you put out a video on teaching something, it's not very likely to do that well. Whereas if you have a history of putting out content and people have a history of liking your videos, they're going to look at that and kind of give you that extra little boost to really give you better ratings. So like I said, it's not a simple equation. It's everything working together. And one of the things that ultimately drives YouTube videos is subscribers. And if you ever go through YouTube's training, they do have a training course that you can actually kind of take online. It's really fascinating stuff. I took the whole course in 2 days just because I found it so fascinating, and I just studied the hell out of everything. But it really is all about subscribers. And we'll go over where that comes into play in a little bit. When you're creating your videos, one of the things that's very, very important to do is to always give people a reason to subscribe to your channel. So let me kind of screen over here for a minute. You're looking right now at sort of my channel. Let's actually go to the real channel view. So when you have a YouTube channel, there's 2 different views that you can essentially have. You can have one for people who have already subscribed, and another for those who have not subscribed. Now this portion I'm actually kind of working on myself. I'm looking at refining it. But this top video up here, okay, normally what this would be is what we call a trailer. It's sort of like your 30 seconds to get their attention. And so you want to just really quickly sum up, this is what our channel is about, this is why you should subscribe, here's what you can expect. So you want to produce that as one of your first videos and just really make sure you do a good job with it. We're working on redoing ours because we have made some changes to how our website works, so that's the reason why currently I just have a featured class as our primary video. You can also have a different view for subscribers. So you'll notice that when I kind of put my cursor here over this where it says unsubscribe trailer, we have a subscriber view. So you can have a totally different view depending on what kind of person you're dealing with here. Let me go through my notes here. Let's see here. Okay. I want to emphasize the importance when you're creating a video of professionalism. And I'm going to give you several tricks for this, including some other websites so you can get something like a video intro produced. But when I remember back when I was first doing research to create the PC Classes Online YouTube page, one of the things I found, I just went to YouTube and I just searched for the word new to Mac. Very, very simple, right? I just want to see who else was doing this kind of thing. And what I was actually very surprised to find was that there were very few people who were creating video content on how to use technology, teaching videos, and much more people who were doing what we refer to as box opening videos. It might not be the right phrasage, but it's like you get a new iPhone and someone taking it out of the box, taking the wrapping off, turning it on, look at how thin it is. But there weren't many people out there who were actually teaching how to use that product. And so I looked at that and I saw a niche opportunity. And so we went after it, and it's worked out pretty well for us. But you have to take the time, and yes, it does take money to have the tools so that you can produce a really great video. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go slightly off topic, and I'm going to give you a few tricks that I've used to help with this process. Now, some people, you watch a video and they go straight into the topic of whatever it is they're talking about. Others will have this like flashy 3D graphic. We do that. And it's not long. I think in our case, our new one is a little bit longer than our old one. But we have this, well, for those of you who are tuning in after the fact that we've recorded this, you'll see it at the beginning of this video. But like you start off the outside the Earth and you zoom in to where we are based out of, and it gives you the logo. And I get the question all the time, how did you create that? It's actually a lot more simple than you might think. And this is a great example where if you're watching this after the fact, look for the links in the description of the video. There's this awesome little website called videohive.net. And essentially what these are After Effects and other programs like After Effects templates. So here's what I did. Go to videohive.net. Over here where it says After Effects project files, I would probably go here into either logo stings or openers. Okay, they could kind of be interchangeable. Let's go into logo stings, and these are it works the same way that something like Pages works. Okay, they are going to have in these little short videos a logo for Envato, which is the parent company of VideoHive, and you just replace their logo with your logo, the name of their company with your company. And as you see here to the right of the screen where it has the prices, it's not expensive. And if you don't know how to do After Effects, I'm going to give you another trick. So you can kind of cursor over any of these, and you'll see it'll start playing the video. Pretty flashy, huh? Not bad for $10 to produce that. So when you find the right logo for you, the right video, and you want to try to keep it relatively short. I probably kind of violate my own rules with that one, but I love our opening. What can I say? I love graphics. When you find the right one, if you are not good if you don't have After Effects, or if you're not trained in After Effects, I would like to give you a second tip. And the second tip is this little website. I use it all the time, and it's called Fiverr.com. We've actually recorded a whole class on Fiverr. And here's the trick. When you go to Fiverr.com, this is a website where you would pay people $5, starting at $5, to do something for you. Okay? So I could type in here, I'm actually going to type in the word VideoHive. Okay? And what it's going to do is it's going to come up with people who do this as a living. You send them the VideoHive template that you've just downloaded. I usually will upload it to Dropbox because it is a rather big file. Send it to these people, and usually 24, 48 hours later, you've got your logo in that video. It's really amazing stuff. So you can see here there's a bunch of people. I don't remember which one we use because I am not trained in After Effects. My one little thing I want to mention here is make sure you look at the reviews. Make sure you go with someone who has a lot of reviews, okay, and not just maybe one. So that's another trick I wanted to give you. Another thing, if you need any other kind of music to go with your video, there's another website that is very nice. I've used it before when I've shot my drone videos. It's for copyright-free music, but it's really high-quality stuff. And the website for that is called audiojungle.net. And this is another sort of a sub-company of Envato. And it's the same thing. You can download sound effects, music packs. I usually just go here under music and I'll just search for stuff. But it's really high quality, royalty-free audio. Hey folks, sorry for that rough cut right there. There was a point where I was going through editing and I realized that there was two small little tricks that I failed to mention during the live class that I taught earlier today. So I wanted to go back and just mention them really quickly. You will notice here that on the channel we have this little box here where I have my logo, and then this little bar here, which is just a little place where you can put a graphic to represent your channel. It's really important that you take time or pay someone to do a good job with this. This is the thing where you may want to hire a local graphic designer who can really take the time to put something together. But if you're trying to just get your channel initially up and running, there is an alternative I want to at least turn you on to. And I've already made a reference to the website, which is Fiverr.com. If you go to the search bar on Fiverr and you type in YouTube channel art, there are people who are more than happy to create both the image that would appear in this little box here as well as the wider image here for YouTube. Now, the proportions that you see here are done this way for a reason. That's because if you're looking at this page here on basically an iPad, a computer, or even through other devices, it's designed so that it's going to look good no matter what. So you really kind of, if you can imagine this as sections, the first third here, you really don't want much of anything, or if you do have anything, make sure it's something that's not that important. If it was to be cut off, you want your main content sort of right here in the middle, and then you can have some additional images over here on the right-hand side. So I just want to give that to you as a little tip, so I hope you enjoyed that. Let's resume to where we left off. On the topic of royalty-free, I want to give you another tip, and I was going to save this for later on in the video, but I'm going to mention it now. We have a category coming up where I wanted to talk about lessons that I learned the hard way. And one of them has to do with music and copyright. It is very important when you're creating YouTube content, if you are going to make money off of it, you must make sure that everything in the video you have to have full copyright authorization to use. That means that either you created it or you have permission to use it. So that's logos, whatever it may be. The only case where I tend to go against that is the opening image here, okay? Like when you see Pixelmator, yes, I stole that from their website, but you know what? I'm creating basically a free promotional video for Pixelmator, so I don't think they mind. But in the case of music, a lot of you out there maybe have heard of the app called Shazam. It's a little app on your phone where you can have it listen to whatever music's playing in the background, whether on the radio, the TV, whatever it may be, and it will figure out what that song is. Well, built into YouTube, they have that same technology. So if you take a copywritten song and upload it, they will figure it out. Now, that's not a problem if you're not making money off of it. For example, I just shot a very fun video. It's not an actual class where our accountant who did all of the QuickBooks tutorials for us, he and I took a little road trip to Freeport, Maine to show off this app called Replay. And in the video, I used copywritten music, but I didn't make money off of it. So therefore, I'm authorized to do it. It's okay. It's just acknowledged third-party content. So just make sure if you're going to make money off of anything here in YouTube, you must have authorization to use it. The next thing I want to do is I want to give you a few of the tools that I use and also other tools that I recommend for anyone who is going to be teaching this, who's going to be offering YouTube classes or YouTube content. First thing, if you are going to be doing anything from your computer, the software that I use to record the screen, what you're all seeing right now, is called ScreenFlow. We have a full tutorial video on it. You can check it out either on our YouTube page or on PCClassesOnline.com. They just came out with the brand new version, but it's actually very, very similar to the old version. So pretty much everything we cover in our video of ScreenFlow is still legitimate. I already mentioned Fiverr, and also another piece of software is Final Cut Pro. We have a class on that, which we're going to be updating very soon. But Final Cut Pro is, by many people's opinions, kind of the standard in video editing software. I believe it's $299. You can get it through the Mack App Store. So if you're on a PC, you're going to need something else, like Adobe Premiere, for example, which a lot of people also like. You need a good camera. And the funny thing is that when we first started creating our tutorial videos, when I appeared on video, which is not even all that long ago, I used my Nikon to shoot the video. And what's funny is that then I got the iPhone 6 Plus and realized it was actually shooting better video than my Nikon. So sometimes you don't really need to go out and buy a video camera. You may already have one. just by using your smartphone. So just make sure you have a good, like the tripod adapter. We did a quick review video on that device. I'll try to put a link to that. But it just helps with filming, of course. If you're going to be shooting video from your laptop, I want to give you another tip. There's this great little webcam made by Logitech. It's a HD webcam. It's like $70 or so. Prices on Amazon can fluctuate, so don't quote me on that. I'll have a link, of course, beneath the video. A decent microphone. The one that I use is called the Snowball. It's made by the company Blue. It's $49. Not that bad. Now, it's not the kind of microphone you're going to clip onto your shirt. It's the kind of thing where you're going to be leaning into it. So if you need a clip-on microphone, you might need to go with a different one. Good lighting. There's different ways to deal with lighting. There's actually some great YouTube videos about lighting for creating YouTube videos. I was checking out one the other day. There's a product that we have on order, and I want to make sure I mention that because I'm not giving it an endorsement until I've really tried it. But it's called a light ring, and it's basically this circular light. You put your camera in the middle of it, and if you've ever seen those images where you have like a model and there's this sort of halo effect in their eye, that's what the camera person is using. It's a ring light. They're fairly inexpensive. I'll put a link to the one that we're ordering. Like I said, I'm not giving it an endorsement because I haven't really tried it out yet. Another trick. See here, for all of these videos, I have custom graphic images, okay? That is not an accident. When you have a custom cover, they tend to do better. Let me give you an example of this. I'm just going to go to the search bar here, and I haven't done this recently, so I don't know if we're still number one, but now I'm going to type in the word new to Mac, okay? Whew, check that out. We're number 1, number 2, and number 4. So notice what is different between our videos and the other ones here, and I'm not putting these people down. I'm just showing it as being a difference. This video do not have custom images, okay? When you go that extra mile of creating a custom image, the video tends to do better. I mean, this is our number 1 video. We only created it a year ago. It's got 630,000 views. I'll show you another statistic about that particular video in a little bit. So if you don't have a program for creating graphics, I want to give a shout out to either Pixelmator if you're on a Mac, or if you're on a PC, Photoshop Elements. Again, links to both will be in the description of the video. Pixelmator does make a version of their software for the iPad as well as Photoshop, but this kind of thing is really better done on a computer. It's just a lot easier to compose it all together. And finally, I have to say it, but when it comes to graphics, when it comes to video editing, a Mac is just better. You can ask anyone in Hollywood, a lot of people will agree, Macs are better at graphics, they're better at video, and frankly, more reliable. So I have to give a quick shout out to them. So what I would like to do at this point is I'm going to show you from the back end of YouTube some of the different features here, how to use them, and how to really get the best usage out of YouTube. So let's go back a page. So this right here, what you're seeing, this is what's called the dashboard. And the dashboard is sort of like the back end view of how YouTube looks. So it gives me, for example, up here at the top, my total views. Okay, I'm not sure if that's lifetime or just the last month. I can never remember that part. Your number of subscribers. I want to talk about this number here. Okay, there are 3 key numbers to be aware of with YouTube, and they don't talk about this a lot. If you do the research, it's very, very difficult to find this information. The key 3 numbers for subscribers are 75,000, 100,000, which we are about to break, and 1 million. Here's what the difference is between the 3 of them. Around 75,000, and sometimes it ends up because they have a lot of people who are creating content. It can come a little bit after that. When you achieve 75,000 subscribers, YouTube will contact you and basically give you an employee at YouTube to work with you. And their goal is to basically get you going from, hey, we're doing really well, to stratosphere. Okay, they want to really make you hit that 1 million+ subscriber mark. and at that point, you're bringing in big bucks. So 75,000, you get that person to work one-on-one with you. We have already had this happen to us. His name is Dennis. He's been a great guy. He and I have gone back and forth a few times, and he basically sat with me on the phone. He's in California, we're on Cape Cod, and he went through our entire channel, and he hand-typed like 4 pages of notes. Here's things that you can do better. Here's what you're already doing right. Okay, and here's what really, really needs improvement. So again, I am not saying I'm a perfectionist at this stuff. I'm not saying I'm the best, because I'm like all of you. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly getting better. So I just want to share as many of these tricks that he's given me with all of you. Let's see. So that's what happens at 75,000. At 100,000, you actually receive a little award. It's called the YouTube Silver Play Button Award. It's a little thing that comes in the mail, and it says congratulations on surpassing 100,000 subscribers. It's something that you can brag about to your friends. And basically what that also signifies is that now when you produce videos, you can pretty much guess that if it's, let's say, for example, here we did a video on Safari. If someone types in Safari, you can guess that our video is going to be within the top few, okay? It just means you have established presence on YouTube. The final number is 1 million. At that point, it's just like, it's amazing what happens. You get a gold play button award, so even more bragging rights. And at that point, when you have 1 million subscribers, that's when the magic really, really starts to happen. You produce a video, and in no time flat, boom, your video hits 1 million views, or however many. It's really hard to get to 1 million, but with hard work, you can do it. You just have to be open to criticism, listen to your fans, and really try to take as many of the little tricks that you hear from me or others to heart, and just really try to bring as many of these as possible into your channel. So this is the dashboard. You'll also see your more recent videos that you've produced. Okay, this one I just released late last night. At this point where we're at, usually our videos go to 1,000 to 2,000 views within 24 hours, which is pretty good. It took a long time to get to that point. But, you know, you have to have patience with these things. It takes time to build a following. That's the dashboard. Let's go here to Video Manager. This is basically a layout of your videos. Okay, in our case, you can see up here we have 237 videos that we've created to date. Some of these I have to actually delete because they're now outdated. I try to keep on top of videos as information changes, but these days it's actually harder than it might seem to do that. When you hover over any video, you'll see here that you have a few different buttons. You have the play button, so if you just want to watch your video, you can see that. We have a pencil icon, that's your edit button, and we have a trash can. If you need to delete your video for whatever reason, that's where you go. We're going to talk about the different editing features in a little bit. You'll also notice that beneath the video, we have these little icons here. So the little globe icon means that it's a public video. Anyone can view it in the world. The $ means that it is monetized. Now, in order to be able to monetize videos, you cannot just simply create one video. You have to hit these different goals, basically, from YouTube. I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe the magic number is 6. You have to produce 6 videos, and at that point, you can start to monetize your videos. We'll go over more of that in a little bit. Let's see here. Also, under the Video Manager, you'll see here we have a bunch of other little options here. I'm not going to go over many of them. Live events, we tried this, and it did not work well. Please keep in mind when you're watching this video later on that every class that we teach is a snapshot in time. Okay, today's date is November 15th of 2014, so if it's significantly further into the future, that may have changed, okay? You can create playlists. This is a pretty cool feature, so if you want to group like videos together, for example, I put all my drone videos together, we put our QuickBooks tutorials together. That way someone can just go from video to video to video, and they know they're all within one particular topic. Copyright notices, this is just if you do use a copywritten song, okay, they're going to give you a notice about it. And so all of these, you'll notice, what icon do you not see? None of them are monetized. That's the key thing. It's not a problem. You just have to basically acknowledge it And, depending on what song you use, they may block your video in certain countries. But as long as you're not making money off of videos that have copywritten music or other copywritten content, you're okay. You can submit a retraction through here. You can view people who've liked your video, search history. Okay, we don't really need to go over those. The next item here is the community button. Within the community, you're going to see a combination of comments, okay, people who've shared your video through Google+. One thing I want to mention about this is you see over here, there's a tab for likely spam. This is kind of hard to talk about, but we have to face a reality fact here. There are people out there who we just simply refer to as haters. For whatever reason, they don't like you, and it could be for whatever reason it may be. You just have to block them out of your mind. In this case, we actually get a lot of spammers, okay? Some of these people have accounts that have been hacked, and, it's like sending out these fake promotional codes. Do not go to any of these. If you see them in the comment section, do not click on them. They're usually phony, and they can take you to websites where you can download malware. I would not recommend doing it. What I do periodically is I go through the ones here that are likely spam, and there's a few different things you can do. You can approve their comment if it is legit. You can remove the comment, or you see where there's this flag here? There's two options. You can report them for spam, or you can ban them from your channel. This can actually be a very helpful tool, because in addition to liking a video, of course, the other option is someone can dislike your video. It sucks, but it happens. And if someone dislikes your video and they leave like a really nasty comment, one trick that you can use to prevent them from being able to do that again is you can ban them from your channel. That way they can't get into any of your videos unless they're signed out of YouTube. And keep in mind, if they're signed out, they can't comment and they can't leave a rating. They can't like it or dislike it. So it's a good trick to just kind of go through these periodically and just make sure that any haters that are here, you ban them. It's not bad. So it's kind of a weird blessing in disguise, I suppose. The next thing you'll see here is messages. Now this is kind of complicated. When you're first starting out, it's very normal to go through the messages and, respond to people. What I try to explain, I try to do this on the website, but we have 150,000 total subscribers. That's through the website and YouTube. And so when you think about that, if 1% of people email me, it's chaos. We get right now actually somewhere around 300 to 500 messages a day between both YouTube and email. There's no way that I can be every single person's tech support guy. So unfortunately, a lot of these people don't understand that, and so therefore I can't really take the time to go through and answer every single one of them. But when you're first starting out, it's not a bad idea, because the more you interact with the community, the better the results you're going to get from people who decide to ultimately subscribe. You can go into fans, okay, and you can kind of see who is really following you and who's just kind of, sort of doing it. Insights, okay, we'll give you some more information here. I think I'm actually going to go at this point into, let's get out of this and go into, we got some freezing going on here. Never mind, we got it. Let's go into channel. Okay, so in channel, the first item we have here is your status and features. This is what I was talking about when I said you have to hit these different marks to ultimately get to the point where, you can hit that 75,000, 100,000, million mark. Okay, so the first thing you want to try to achieve is ability to monetize. And as I said, I think that number is somewhere around 6 videos. I could be wrong. The way you monetize it, they walk you through the whole process, but you do want to periodically go to this location. So for those of you who are here live, this is a good idea to write down this location. In your Creator Studio, you want to go to Channel and Status and Features. And periodically you'll see something here that says, hey, you want to enable this? And you can turn that feature on. They are not going to notify you when you hit these marks. You have to be the one to look at them. So with monetization, it uses something called Google AdSense. It's very, very complicated, and I don't really, I'm not a math guy, if that's a word, but anyway, what they will ultimately do is they will make a direct deposit into your checking account. You can have them send you a check, but it's just easier for direct deposit once a month. There is, I believe, a 1-month delay. So if this is November, we're going to be paid for what we did 2 months ago. But you can see here the different things that can happen. You can hit monetization ability, the ability to upload longer videos that are over 15 minutes. Again, that's right up there with around 6 videos that you hit that feature too. External annotations, okay? That's another feature. Custom thumbnails, that's what I was showing you with our videos, where that first image you see is a custom creation. That is one of these features that you have to achieve. Paid subscriptions, I don't think is a very good idea because people aren't used to it. But you can make people pay for your videos. It just doesn't seem like something a lot of people are going to do, because if they see, oh, pay me for my video, they're just going to go somewhere else. You can get paid through other methods, through ads. That's where most people make their money. You can see a few other features here. Live events, which we don't use. Video editor, which I don't really use because I use between ScreenFlow and Final Cut. I don't have a need for that. Unlisted and private videos, another feature, don't really use. Another feature here, which is really handy to improve your subscribers, and we just enabled this feature recently, in-video programming. So what you can do is you can have a branding watermark at the top right corner of every video. And you can have this either appear in the beginning of the video, you can have it be a custom amount of time, or the entire thing. And then what you can do is you can actually trick it so that if they click on that logo, it will subscribe them to your channel, just to give them easy ways to be able to become a subscriber. Featured video, okay, that first video that you saw, okay, I'm sorry, this is rather at the end of a video. You can say, when do you want this video to appear? You can do it at a custom time or the end. I just prefer to use my most recent uploads, okay, so I use that. You can add a branding intro. I believe the time length for this is 3 seconds long. It's much easier to just build this in as you're creating your videos, because 3 seconds is not a lot of time. So if you need this feature, it's because you didn't do something right. So I wanted to show you that feature here. Fan Finder will just basically give you an idea as to who has been engaged with your, with your channel, and who can you kind of reach out to. Analytics. I cannot go into analytics here because I don't want to show too much personal information, but I do have selected screenshots here to share with you. So I have blurred out one portion of this screen here, but this is going to give you an idea of what you see under analytics. Okay, and let's open this in preview so I can kind of go full screen. Okay. So in analytics, you can see a ton of information, and you can organize this by either the last 28 days, the last 30 days, the last year, the last quarter, or lifetime. And it really gives you an idea of your growth, and it's pretty fascinating to watch this over time. I will say it definitely has been for me. So you can see, for example, on average, how many new subscribers are you adding? Right now we're adding around 11,000 a month. It's not bad. That's pretty good. You can see how many views you're getting. Okay, we're right now getting about 1 million, a little bit over 1 million a month. How many minutes are people watching? We're at 7.6 million. I think it's actually a little bit higher than that now. How many likes? How many dislikes? Again, put this number out of your mind, okay? Unless it's absurdly high, look at this as a ratio, okay? 16,000 to 416 is a really good ratio. You basically want, if you want to keep your dislikes at 2% or less. Okay, so this is like 90%, this is like 2%. Sometimes that might go up or down depending on if you create a controversial video. I just came out with one on Yosemite for the Mack, where I basically said I didn't like it, where the way it came out, not necessarily the way it's going to be when they do some updates, but I got a lot of dislikes for that particular video. It is a controversial topic, so that happened. I knew it was a risk. That does not affect the money you make. Be aware of that. How many comments? This is important too, Remember that algorithm I was mentioning, how it's a lot of different things that make up how much money you make? Let me kind of give you a breakdown. It's everything. It's how many people watch your video. How long do they watch your video? Do they like your video? Do they leave a comment on your video? One trick I've learned recently is I try to always give people a way to leave feedback. I tell them, did you like this video? Did you learn something? Leave it in the comments section below. And I actually read them, and it's constantly giving me information to do an even better job. How many people share your video? This number is very heavily skewed. Ignore it completely, because this is only if they share it directly from YouTube. It does not count if they hit copy and paste on the link and they put it on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. So really, you have to pretty much ignore this number altogether. Favorites added, that's another thing. They can save the video as a favorite. They'll probably be watching it again at some point in the near future. Okay. Let's get out of this graphic here so I can show you another one. Now, if I had known this information when I created our very first video, which was called Learn the Mack, I think it was something like Learn the Mack in Under an Hour. If I had known this video, the numbers that this video was going to hit, I would have said you're lying to me. So this video was created about a year ago, somewhere around thereabouts. And I don't normally share numbers as far as dollars go, but I'm going to share this one. So this is a video that I created. It took me a full day to create it because I was really trying to do as good a job as I possibly could to just nail it. Look at this. Okay, in 1 year, this video has brought in $4,000 in ad revenue. That's money that goes towards paying for everything that we need to keep doing what we do. It pays for salaries. It pays for everything. And all it needed was, you need good content and time. Between those two, you'll be fine. $4,000 for a 1 hour, well, under an hour technically, video. Pretty cool stuff. And I am nothing compared to some of the people who are out there, to the Michelle Pfons of the world, to the Ray William Johnsons out there. And then we have, let's see here, beneath where you see analytics, you will see this too, which is your demographics. Now, part of this you have to also understand is heavily skewed. At least that is my strong suspicion, and that has to do with gender. So you'll see where primarily your hits are coming from. It's no real shocker for us that because we're based out of the United States, that most of our views are coming from the United States. But in recent times, we've seen our numbers of followers from the UK, Canada, Australia, India, all over South America, just kind of balloon. It's incredible. We have a ton of people in the Middle East, really all over the planet, and it's really incredible. It brings everyone together. Top playback locations, and this is what's funny. As much work as we do with PCClassesOnline.com, still 89% of our hits come from YouTube.com. So the website versus YouTube, even though we put a lot of work into the website, YouTube has a lot more people who are already on it. So that's the way it goes. Your top traffic sources, okay? So see here it says YouTube suggested videos, okay? One of the things you can do within settings is you can tell YouTube to suggest your video if someone's watching something of a similar topic. You may have noticed that you're on a YouTube video, and at the top right corner, you've got that list of other videos. To the top, I believe it's the top 2, are usually suggested videos, and it's based on the content of whatever you were just watching. 40% of our traffic comes from people who are looking for videos on, for example, how to use the Mac, but they're watching someone else's video, but it recommends our video over theirs. So that happens. It's not necessarily over their video, but it's just saying it's very similar. That's all. So that's a little bit about analytics. There's a create button here. I don't think a lot of you are going to be using it. They do give you access to things like copyright-free music. The quality of that music, in my opinion, is not good. I'd much rather see you go to Audio Jungle and get some really good stuff. You have to put a little bit of money into your video in order to make money. It's just reality. So that's a little bit about this. Next thing I want to do is I want to go into the actual video, the back end of a video. I'm going to use Safari here as an example and show you what it looks like. This is where we get into some of the SEO options. Anyone here in the class know what that stands for? I'm sure we have a couple people. Yes, Matt hit it first. Search engine optimization. So I'm going to give you a bunch of little tricks here. As I said, the first thing you have to do is you have to create a custom image once you unlock that ability. Okay? Otherwise, it's just going to basically grab a random screenshot. For any of you out there who are fans of ours, you may have noticed if you happen to look at a video seconds after I've uploaded it, some people, they get that email that a new video is uploaded. They go right to it before I've even had a chance to swap out the image, and it looks like one of these. It's just a screenshot. It's random. It doesn't have any significance to it. And then I always swap it out for something that's a little bit more professional. I always use Pixelmator. I just find it to be very, very simple as far as creating textured backgrounds, being able to bring in images off the internet, adding text, adding a reflection effect. Just very, very simple. When you're creating your title, you really want the first word to be whatever that main keyword is going to be. I would recommend you either leave out the words how to if you are going to create a how-to video, or you can put it at the very end. Sometimes what I'll actually do here is I'll put a bracket and I'll put in all capital letters how to. Okay? Not in this case. Then you have your video description here. Okay? And you can see here I put a bunch of links in this one. Here's a trick that I learned from our YouTube guy, Dennis. The first 2 lines are what it looks over for keywords. So look at these 2 lines. Safari, Safari. Okay, and then it comes up a few more times in the next sentence too. So you really want to make sure that your keywords are right off the bat. Don't give them any kind of a tease. Don't say, hey, wouldn't it be nice if your iPhone could do this or that, for example. Get right to the topic matter. If it's about Safari. Safari is, in this case, currently our favorite web browser. In this full tutorial, David will show you the basics of Safari, as well as tips and tricks too. All of those words are there for a reason. I have the words tips and tricks also very specifically put in there. The word tutorial, okay? That's not an accident. This is all very strategically done. When you're creating links to products or links to external websites, what I would recommend, if you have never heard of it, there's different websites that do the same thing. We use Bitly. It's bit.ly. That's the website address, and it's used for shortening website addresses. So, for example, if I am sharing a product that I may be talking about, it's a really long URL if I was going to go to Amazon and copy and paste it in. So instead, I use Bitly to shorten that link so that it fits nice and tiny and clean into this space. So if you haven't used it, that's a good one also. Another trick that I learned, and I actually broke my own rule for this particular video, is try to always get one piece consistent. So for example, what I actually usually do, and I'll put it in right here, for, I believe the way I actually phrase it, now I'm blanking, take our free classes at http://pcclassesonline.com. They're going to look for consistency, okay? So if you can always end your video the same way, it's a good idea. Also here in, I believe it's under channel right here, you can say that there is a relationship between XYZ website and YouTube. So that way it'll kind of know that you're legit. It's just another way to boost your rating. Then we get keywords here, okay? In this case, I'm sorry, they refer to as tags. You can add as many tags as you want. There is a length limit. I forget exactly what it is. But, of course, what's the first word? Safari, then tutorial, Safari 8.0, Safari tutorial. These are key words or phrases, okay? So, for example, if you're doing Safari tips and tricks, you could do one version as Safari tips and tricks, and then reverse it. Safari tricks and whatever was the opposite of what I just said. Sorry, my ADD is kicking in. You can share the video here on the right-hand side to Google Plus or Twitter. Don't really know why they don't have an integration here with Facebook. My guess is that Google and Facebook don't tend to get along that well, and that's the reason why. If you have a playlist, you can add this video to that particular playlist. Once you gain the ability to monetize, you can just click over here, and it's one click. So what's going to happen is Google gets to decide whose ads play. I have absolutely no say in what happens. And in different cases, depending on how long the video is, the options you see here may differ, okay? So you may have in-video ads, true view in-stream ads, okay? You can show pre-roll ads, mid-roll ads, post-roll ads, okay? There's all sorts of different options here. You do have to acknowledge if it contains a paid product placement, meaning if you are being paid to have that product, okay? It doesn't count technically if you are like making it to teach people how to use it and then you give them a link to where they can buy it. That's different. It means the company itself that makes the product is paying you to make that video. Okay, that's the difference between the two. Under advanced settings, you can control what category your video appears in, the location. This is just coordinates. You can type in your zip code or your country, whatever it is. I wouldn't put in your exact location. This is a generic location for where we are. The recording date, if it's in 3D, very few people do, but you can do that. Closed captions, licensing rights, okay, a whole bunch of different options here you can check out, of course, on your own. Another trick I do want to share with you, let's go back to, I think this is going to work. I'm going to type in the word iCloud, okay? All right, so we have two ads up here. We're going to ignore those for now. Number one is our video here. Do you notice another feature here that's different than the other videos beneath it? If you can't find it, it's right here. Now this is a giant pain in the butt, but you can add closed captions to your video so that it's immediately able to be translated into every language that they have access to. It is painstaking. Usually you may want to hire someone else to do this. We had hired someone at one point and he just kind of flaked on us. We had to let him go. We're currently trying to get someone else to do it. We have someone who we'd like to. It's just that our cost to create these classes has gone up significantly, and we're trying to raise the kind of funding so that we can bring him on because we want to have more videos with closed captioning. But when you add closed captions, they also have the ability to search now the whole transcript of your video. Think about that. They know every word that you're saying. So if I'm saying the word iCloud over and over and over, you better believe that video is going to be number one. We'll probably eventually transcribe this video. So for that case, YouTube, make money, YouTube. There we go, number one. I'm just kidding. All right, so that's a little feature there I wanted to show you. To add closed captions, let me just show you how you do that. There's a couple different ways. Sorry about that. Okay, when you're in the back end of the video, up here at the top right, it says subtitles and CC. Okay, so it's going to ask what language. Okay, English is the default set language. Now in this case, we've already done it. You can either basically just write everything down in a text file and put it in, or you can, this part is very, very painful, but you can go and basically play and pause the video and it will say, okay, for this part of you talking, this is what it thinks it is. They have an option to try to automatically translate it. It is really, really bad. If you have an accent of any type, it's even more brutal. That technology is one of these things that has just not come fast enough. And I'm really looking forward to if someone out there creates a piece of software that will just do a better job of translating video to text. Because at that point, you could just very quickly copy and paste everything in here and boom, it's available. Your SEO options go through the roof. Really amazing what happens just by adding subtitles. But I will tell you, the process is painstaking. There's some other features that we also have up here. We've already mentioned info and settings. Enhancements. I don't ever use these. It's basically if your video just doesn't look good, they'll kind of give you a before and after. Let me just get video, okay? Where you can kind of fix the light, saturation, contrast. You can stabilize it. I haven't found that it works that well, but you can use these features here. It's much better to do this in an actual video editing software like either Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, iMovie, whatever it may be. Audio options. Okay, so this is if you did not put music in your video ahead of time, you can add it afterwards. I have no idea why you would do that, but you can. Next one here is annotations. You've seen those little speech bubbles appear in videos before? This is where that all happens. Where I used to do this, and I still do it to some extent, is usually at either the beginning of the video or the very end of the video. I would give people a little option up here at either the top left or the top right where they could, with one click, go to subscribe to the channel. Let me just kind of give you an idea of how that works. You click here to add an annotation, and there's a few different options here. You can do a speech bubble, a note, a title, spotlight, I'll mention that in a minute, and label. The two most important ones are speech bubble and spotlight. Speech bubble is exactly what it sounds like. It looks like a little speech bubble. You can put it up where you can just kind of drag it to wherever you want, and I can type in here, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click here. If you notice your text disappear, just click on one of the corners to expand it. Okay, you can kind of tweak this however you want. You can tweak the font beneath this. Okay. You can choose the start time and the end time. You don't want to leave this up too long. I usually don't leave it up for more than 10 seconds. So I'm just going to have it come in at 1 second, go out at 8 seconds. And then the question is, what do you want to have happen? And that's where this little checkbox here for link comes into play. So I can either make this, if they click here, it goes to a different video. I can have it bring them to a playlist, bring them to my channel, my Google Plus page, which I never ever use. This is the big one, subscribe. So when you do this, all you do is you type in the name of your channel, which brings me to another topic. When you are creating the name of your channel, you basically cannot change this. And I don't mean the name, it's the actual URL. So I remember I mentioned that the PC Classes Online started off as Tech Talk America, which is the legal name of our business. It's just it's a DBA. So make sure you get the right one. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do that, and there's no way to change it afterwards. So make sure you get the right URL early. A lot of people want their name. Perfect. Go for it, or the name of their business. If you're going to do that, just make sure you're not going to change names at any point in time like we did. So that is that feature. There's other options here. You don't get these right off the bat, but fundraising project, an associated website, or merch. Okay, that's for merchandise. So that's that. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let me go to my notes here and see what the next feature I want to mention. Let's see. I want to go over, I mentioned this, I was going to talk about this earlier, lessons that I learned ultimately the hard way in creating YouTube, because no one's perfect, right? The first thing is that I learned that anytime you're creating a video, it's really important that you appear at some point on camera. And I don't have the best self-confidence. You know, I was dealt a very difficult card genetically. Both my parents had severe acne. I've battled it my whole life. It's mostly under control now, but I have bad days like a lot of people out there do. And so I'm very self-conscious about appearing on camera. It's important that you do it, though. And guys, you know, it sounds silly, but you know, you have to accept that if you're going to appear on camera, you may really want to consider exploring makeup. And if you do it right, you can't really tell on camera. You might feel ridiculous putting it on, but if you look good, it's worth it, okay? Even if you feel a little bit silly. Let's see. Yeah, and the other thing I just want to mention about that is that people don't respond to a voice. They respond to people. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's all about people. I already mentioned about the importance of picking the correct channel name. I mentioned my opinion on Vimeo in that when you compare it to YouTube, the options are just, they're non-existent really. Monetize, monetize, monetize. When you're creating your first, I believe it's your first 6 videos, plan on those videos probably not being monetized, okay? You can do it down the road, but the important thing is to hit that number and make sure that they approve you so that you can monetize. So those 6 videos you may want to produce relatively quickly. I'd still say do a good job. Don't be sloppy with it, but it's important that you hit that initial goal. And maybe if you want to leave in the comments for any of you who are new who do this, if you want to confirm, is it 6 videos? I would be interested to know myself. When you're on camera, always be yourself. I never, ever use a script. I have never, in any of our videos, ever done that. I try to just basically speak from the heart. I always do have notes. These are just bullet points that I try to hit on. Just keeps the class usually mostly on track when I don't derail. But it's important to just be you. And for people out there who are maybe shy and uncomfortable with being on camera, if you're going to put on a persona, make sure you get good feedback from people that that persona is believable as being just you. I've heard of other people, some who are very famous, YouTubers who do this. And, they're very, very quiet people. They don't really like all the attention, but they enjoy doing what they do. And so they put on this, very larger than life persona, but make sure that it's contained enough to appear real. And finally, my other little trick other lesson that I learned is don't let the haters get you down. I've already mentioned it twice, but there are people out there who are just mean. They're going to say bad things. You have to put them out of your head and just know that what you're doing is to make the world a little bit of a better place, that you're creating a living for yourself and potentially others, and just don't let those people get to you because they are hiding behind their computers. They're hiding behind these fake usernames. Don't even worry about them. Another trick I wanted to give you, I have just 4 quick little tricks I wanted to give you before we wrap everything up here. So the first thing I want to mention, I actually made kind of a hint at it already. When you are, I believe it's here under channel in video programming, I mentioned about this watermark here. Okay, right? Right now, if someone goes and clicks on that watermark, it will take them right now to our channel. It does not subscribe them. Here's the trick. I made a reference to this earlier, but I didn't go into it. Let's go back into Safari here. Okay. So as you are in annotations, okay, I'm going to pause it real quick. I mentioned there's going to be that watermark that's going to appear in the video up here at the top right corner. I actually taught this last time in class. That's why it's already there. Remember I showed you Spotlight a moment ago? Well, what Spotlight basically does, it allows you to draw a transparent layer over your video, and you can cause something to happen when they click on it. For example, in some YouTube videos you may have seen, I don't do this just because it's a lot of work to make it happen, and I just don't have the time. But some people at the very end of their videos, they'll have these like little boxes of video clips, and they'll say, "Did you enjoy this? Check out our other videos." Those are actually built into the edit, okay? When they create the video, those are already there. What they do is they draw a spotlight around each box so that when you click on it, you either go to that video or what we are about to start doing, if you click on our logo here at the top right, we can make it so that they link to subscribe. Just an easy way to get people to, follow you, and that's the ultimate goal with all these things. I remember that when I was having my conversation with Dennis and also going through some of the YouTube training, one of the things he taught me is that I think it's somewhere around 80% of the views that you will get are all from subscribers, and that's why it's so important that you try to rack up as many subscribers as you possibly can. Those people are so much more likely to view your videos. Okay. Next thing I want to do is mention another little trick. It sounds really silly, but say it. Tell people to subscribe. It's funny, you don't have to kind of be demanding about it, but just give them a reason. Say, hey, we come out with video content every Wednesday and every Saturday. Hit subscribe. That way you'll be notified whenever we do come out with one. It's really easy and it takes 2 seconds. One of the features I have discovered is that videos under 5 minutes tend to do better than longer videos. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. I made reference earlier that our #1 video of all time was Learn the Mack in under an hour. And unfortunately, that video was created a few operating systems ago. So while I would love to take it down, I really can't. But that's also the reason why now I always mention the date in every video, is to let people know, is this video outdated or not? Finally, one last trick. If you want to get an idea of what you can expect to make. And let's just use Michelle here as an example. So let's type in Michelle, fun. Okay, clearly a common thing that a lot of people are searching for. If I go to her actual channel, okay, so I have this view right here. Let me pause this video so it doesn't play. Okay. Notice up here at the top of the URL, I have the exact address for her channel. In her case, she was very, very smart. She is a smart girl. She got her name. I'm going to copy the name of her channel to the clipboard. Okay. There's this great little website. It's not 100% accurate, but it's close. I'll tell you that because I've searched for myself. The website is socialblade.com. I don't know how these guys do it, but you basically put in the username of any YouTube channel, copy paste, okay, right there, and they will tell you approximately how much money that person is making. And it goes through all the analytics that are public. No shocker here that she has a A. I think we're at a B right now. We're still working, working to get better, a B or a B minus. But what I have found is that in this number, like right here it says 712,000, it can be different for different people, but I found this number to be actually a little low. Okay, I remember when I was doing my research on Ray William Johnson. Okay, his numbers have gone down because it's no longer him. But there was a point where he was making $2.9 million just from YouTube ads. Pretty incredible stuff, huh? You can see right now he's not even involved, and according to this, he's doing 1.4 million. That number, as I said, tends to be low, so I'm sure it's probably actually closer to 2 million. It's really amazing stuff. This website is really fun to check out. Social Blade, I don't know a ton about them beyond this feature, but I do know they offer some consulting services, which I should probably mention that I do too. So for anyone who wants to maybe have like someone review their YouTube channel, I do offer private consulting, private lessons. You can just shoot me an email, david@pcclassesonline.com. I do charge for it. It's $129 an hour. That's today's rate. If that rate changes in the future, I would of course let you know that later on. But YouTube is an amazing tool to make money, and you just have to do your research and get real feedback. I try to always surround myself with friends, my mentor, who are willing to tell me if I do a crap job. My mentor is named Steve Cook, not related to Tim. He will absolutely come out and tell me, David, that video was horrible. You have to redo it. And I will. I'll listen to him every time. And other people. But if someone just tries to give you fluff, oh, yeah, you're doing a great job, get them out of your life, or at least as far as when it comes to feedback. You need real people who will give you real feedback. And if you do, it is amazing what you can achieve with YouTube. Final note about this is something that I have not done a ton of research on, but it did come up in the questions during the last class. At some point in time, you may be contacted by one of these people, and I'm going to give you a general idea of what the email or message may sound like. It's usually coming from some sort of a company that claims a alternative method to Google AdSense, that they will monetize your videos for you and you get double or triple whatever Google offers. From what I have seen from others who have blogged about the same topic, a lot of those companies do tend to make 2 to 3 times more, but they keep it. You don't get it. So your video is making a lot more money. They didn't say that that money goes to you. My advice is just stick with AdSense. They seem to do a really good job with it, and it's, after all, very, very easy. What I'm going to do at this point is we have a live audience here tuning in from all over the world. I'm going to stick around and answer their questions. For those of you who have been watching us on YouTube or on our website at pcclassesonline.com, I thank you for watching this. If you are on YouTube, we do appreciate it. If you give us feedback, you can type a comment, like the video, let us know what we can do better, maybe if there's something we left out, and do check out our website. We are a completely free public service, even for the live classes. That part is also free to everyone. We hope to see you there. This is David A. Cox with PC Classes Online. Class dismissed.